Natural Monument starts really about 250 million years ago. That was a time that this area of southern New Mexico was under drought. During periods when it was really warm, the sea level would drop, and that's when gypsum would precipitate out of the salty water. And then the sea level would rise, and the precipitation would stop, and then the sea level would drop, and the precipitation would begin once again. This raising and lowering of the sea levels laid down very thick layers of gypsum. That is where the gypsum that we have in Tularosa Basin originally came from. And then about 70 million years ago, so we're jumping forward in geologic time, tectonic forces pushed up the land, and the ancient seabed that contained all of the layers of gypsum pushed up into the surrounding mountains, the San Andres and the Sacramento Mountains. And then about 30 million years ago, the crust began to pull apart, and that created the Tularosa Basin. The Tularosa Basin is like a bathtub without a drain. There's nowhere for the water to go. So when it rains, snows up in the mountains, the only place for that water to go is the lowest point in the Tularosa Basin, which is Lake Lucero. So the Lake Lucero, as the gypsum-laden water, because gypsum's very water-soluble, kind of like sugar and iced tea, when it rains and snows up in the mountains, that gypsum-laden water is taken to the lowest point in the Tularosa Basin, which is Lake Lucero. Under the really hot summer suns we have around here, the water evaporates, leaving behind the crystalline form of gypsum, which is called selenite. Selenite is very, very soft. It's about the softness of your fingernail. It's very easy to scratch. Through freezing and thawing and wind, the selenite crystals break down. They break down to smaller and smaller particles, and then the wind picks them up and tumbles these particles and further breaks them down. And they tumble against each other like bumper cars scratching each other. So the smaller and smaller particles of gypsum scratch each other, and that is why they're white. So anything that is less than 2 millimeters in size, which is about the thickness of a nickel,